This is David Talbot. I'm CTO of WorkMovr, and we've built our WorkMovr application as a very standard Caspio application. We've used a little bit of extra JavaScript from time to time, but the fundamental application is totally Caspio, and any Caspio programmer could have a look at the code and carry on and make changes to the code. There's nothing unusual or proprietary about the way we've built WorkMovr. Now then what we did, we extended Caspio in three main directions. And again, these would be easy for an average programmer to follow through with. Okay, first is server-side processing with AWS. Second, using external service providers such as Twilio voice services. And third is native mobile apps in Ionic. So let's have a look at these one at a time. AWS for server-side processing. In order to run WorkMovr, you must have AWS. We have the two as very complementary components, and so you must have at least a Grow account to run WorkMovr and AWS together. Okay, and you see here we have quite a lot of stuff happening in AWS. We use AWS for all our API calls. The REST APIs in and out of WorkMovr all go through AWS, partly from a security point of view, so we don't reveal credentials on the client screen side. And secondly, it's often really convenient to put some logic in AWS. And all our AWS programs are open, of course, and you can see how they work. Second thing we do is asynchronous processing. If something needs to happen once a month or once a minute, we do that processing in AWS. Caspio does have a scheduled task aspect, but it's a little bit limited. The main thing is it cannot call a program. And so we use AWS for most of our asynchronous processing because most of the time we need to call a program. Thirdly, when events happen. So on a repetitive subscription in Stripe, for instance, when Stripe takes the payment, we have a webhook on Stripe that sends a message back into our AWS. We then update the payment that has been received in Caspio through AWS. So an integral component of what we do. Second, external service providers. I've given this example of Twilio. You don't need Twilio to run WorkMovr, but it's so inexpensive that it makes sense because then you've got international SMS, you've got phone calls, and lots of stuff. So it makes some sense to have Twilio. Additionally, we use about 17 other service providers. We use, for instance, DocuSign, for legal documents. We use a very good application called OnFleet for when you need to send people out to visit, like visiting nurses or technicians have to go and repair some sort of piece of machinery. International foreign currency transactions, those sorts of things we use through AWS and REST APIs as external service providers. And in times gone past, we might have written some of these items in Caspio, but now if we do have an external service provider, we're very, very tempted to go to them because, again, they're huge functionality and they're usually very inexpensive. And so, external service providers make a lot of sense. Thirdly, native apps. Okay, a lot of people are now doing a lot of their interaction with companies or with computers through their phone. And so we felt that, even though with Caspio you can do responsive web pages, if we could do a little bit more, it might be quite attractive. And so this is an example here. People love their pets. And so this particular fictitious person has one dog and 3 cats. They get a mobile app, they can keep track of all their pets. Someone who's got a dog and 3 cats is probably pretty much an energetic pet person, and so would love to have their own mobile app that tells them everything about that pet. You know, what they're doing with billing. It can look at George here and see his pet ID, get his medicine refill request. If you, then all of a sudden, if Murray makes a little sound, they can click on Murray and do the same for him or her. And so now in mobile apps, again, we're very much Caspio centric. Every single thing we do with external service providers or mobile apps, all the data is in Caspio. And we just go out to either the mobile app or to the external service provider to get some function worked out, and then the service provider or the mobile app sends the answer back into Caspio. And so you're not beholden to any external service provider or to AWS, for example. We don't store any data, if any customer data, in these external services or in AWS. So thanks very much. That gives you the three areas that we've extended to: server-side processing, external providers, and native mobile apps. Thank you. Bye-bye.